Hello, all you lovely freedom people out there, and welcome to today's Fireside Freedom Chat on the Freedom People Podcast. I'm your host, Bradley, and today's guest is Eric from the Free Minds Podcast. We had a wonderful conversation, and I think that you're going to enjoy the conversation just as much as we did. Eric is just a stand-up man with great ideas and a level head on his shoulders. We were honored to have him on the show. He definitely has a free mind and is definitely one of the freedom people. So let's jump right into it. But before we do, grab your telephone and text in the keyword Free Minds. That's FREEMINDS to 844-992-3733. That's 844-992-3733, and receive today's show notes. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's hard to market.
Yeah, for sure. Or monetize it anyway, you know what I mean? But again, That's for us. We're not really trying to monetize it. It's just, we're trying to get the word of freedom out, man. The idea of freedom. And it's,
right.
I couldn't believe that we were under attack that this bad, you know what I mean? Like we'd let it go so bad that people didn't even care about freedom anymore, like at all. Even the right to breathe clean air. They're like, fuck it, go ahead, take it. Oh.
Yeah, it's not great right now for people that actually care about what made America in the first place. Like the reason it's so wonderful is because we had these institutions and we had these laws and we had these rights and these liberties, and they were enforced and upheld by our Constitution and respected by our institutions that enforced the Constitution, and everything was set up a certain way. And then this critical race intersectionalism took over the universities, and like a cancer, or more accurately, sort of like a virus, it just sort of spread, from the bottom up, essentially. From the universities, it spread to all industries. I mean, the big tech, the media, social media, like Hollywood. There's nowhere that's unaffected by this disgusting racist philosophy that all white people are evil and all black people are oppressed by all white people.
So wild.
And just this psychotic racist narrative, it permeates everything, and it all stems from critical race theory, critical theory, intersectionalism, and right. I mean, it's a sickness. This is what we have to do to fight it. We have to get together with like-minded people and speak the truth. We have to try to turn people that are crazy, psychotic leftists. We have to try. I know it's crazy because even people like, what's his name? David, oh God, I'm forgetting his name in the moment. The black guy who goes around de-radicalizing Klan members.
Cox. No, what dude? That
David, I was going to say David Dorn, but that was the black guy killed in one of the black men.
No, man, like he sits down and he sits down and has conversations with these KKK members and gets them to
That's right.
Yeah,
and
dude.
De-radicalized over 200 of them, right? So it's like, but then, there's that video of him trying to talk to a leftist, and they just called him a racist, and they wouldn't even listen to a single word he had to say.
I saw that. I was like, dude, what?
Right. It's like if he can literally convince actual white supremacists that they're wrong,
right.
But psychotic progressives, you can't even get your foot in the door. There's no. It's demoralizing, but we still have to try. So that's why I appreciate, people like you trying to have the conversations, people trying to reach out, make those connections, because it's the only way we're going to win back the culture and we're going to take back our country.
Well, absolutely, man. And you really hit. So Eric, real quick, before we get too much into it, can you introduce yourself and let the people kind of know who you are and And
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
We kind of jumped. Right.
No, dude, I love it. And we're going to have many of these. I have a feeling. But yeah,
All right, cool.
please tell people who you are, my good man.
So I'm Eric with Free Minds Podcast. I do the show. Well, it was weekly at first, but it sort of just turned into when I have time to do the show.
For sure.
But so, I mean, I was a liberal for most of my life. But I'm 33. I'm a black man. I live in Massachusetts. I was a liberal for most of my life just because that's
Sure.
the default setting for people. I feel like it's just it's in the culture. It's in like shows that you
As
watch.
was I, bro.
Books
Yeah.
that you read. It's literally in everything. If you're one of these people that just doesn't really pay attention to politics and you don't really you just have more shit going on and you're just not super worried about it and you just sort of see stuff on Facebook and you hear things, you're gonna just lean left just because everything around you leans left, and you're just going with the culture. You're going with the flow. It's just like a survival mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Trump came around, and it was at a time when I'm seeing, there's these black, I don't know, pundits or whatever you want to call them on mainstream media every night talking about how they're so oppressed and, America's so racist and it's so terrible and they're always under siege by the police. And then Trump comes along and he says, okay, well, you've been voting Democrat your whole life and apparently everything sucks, right? So fucking vote for a Republican. What do you have to lose? And I watched all these same black pundits on a dime turn and go, how dare you claim it's not wonderful to be a black person in America? You must be racist.
Yeah.
Like, they literally don't have principles.
Yeah.
They do not have any principled positions. They have no intellectual consistency. The only thing they care about is whatever word or sentence will get them power in the moment. Their opinions will flip-flop completely when the situation changes and the roles are reversed in a month down the road. These are people that aren't committed to logic. They're not committed to reason. They just have a slavish, cultish devotion to the woke narrative. And it's just poisoning absolutely everything. So Trump came along and he essentially tore the mask off of the media, at least for me. It was like, you could, because it was a guy who you saw him on, The Apprentice. Right. He was like the number one show for how long? Right. He's in rap videos. Like, the dude was part of the culture. There's no denying it. Like, not everybody loved him, but he was like an undeniable part of the culture.
Yeah.
Are we really going to sit here and say that, what was it, NBC I think it was on? I'm not sure what the network was, but are we really going to sit here and say that this company was spending millions and millions of dollars every year on a show starring a white supremacist for like 11 seasons? Is that really what we're
And then all of a sudden, now that he's president, now he's a white supremacist, right? Yeah.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, so what? He just became a white supremacist
overnight,
all of a sudden? Right, so it's like that's what they want us to believe. Like, all those times we had him on the show and we talked to him and we were schmoozing and we saw him at the cocktail. That's all. All
the rap videos that mentioned him. I mean,
exactly.
Like, dude, it was a thing.
He became a white supremacist at some point when he was, as soon as he became a threat to the establishment, he was all of a sudden smeared a white supremacist and a racist.
The mainstream media.
For me, it was like, oh, okay, so this is the game. I see your game now. The mask is off, and Trump was the catalyst for me being able to see the truth.
Yeah.
And from there, I just dove into the facts, and I have like a psychotic obsession with finding out what the truth is.
Dude, thank goodness, man. Thank God, bro. Not many people do. That we need people like you. People like us that are willing to have conversations at all right now, which is kind of crazy, bro. We did an interview. Dangerous. Dude, like, we can't talk about anything right now. Like, nope. It's and again, like, the whole race thing, to your point, it's just such a low vibe. If you want to, again, if we're going to talk in any sort of like spirituality of some sort, right, where there's vibrations and whatnot in this world, and there is something spiritual, right, that's deeper than skin, right, or deeper than the physical eyes can see, right, then we have to understand that for them to be able to pit, again, they can pit us against each other because of the color of our skin, again, just super ridiculous. Still that is even, I mean, dude, like, if you go back to the 80s, look at Eddie Murphy You know what I mean? And him on stage in 1983, 20 years old, 22 years old. And I mean, you know, Delirious and stuff, that stuff's like, dude, holy shit, bro. You can't, dude, now, dude. And again, those are the things that we used to make fun of each other for because they didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like they're obvious and something that you can see, but enough that they didn't matter that we could make fun of each other for it. You know what I mean? And that was part of comedy, was race and just anything that made you different that was obvious, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big a deal.
That's the weirdest thing to me about it is that people that don't see race are racist in the eyes of the progressives.
Right.
Like people that literally don't care if you're white or black and they treat you equally, to them, that's racist.
It's weird, right? If I don't sit there and say that somehow I'm privileged just because of the color of my skin, then I'm somehow devaluing another person because they're of another color. And it's not even black and white. It's not even about African Americans or black people or whatever you want to say. It's not even that. Now it's just any person of color, and you're like, well, dude, that is so ridiculous. Like the rainbow is very, very, very vast. You know what I mean, of human beings in this world. And like, again, I was not raised with racism in the home. So it just never really, I never understood it. Like, dude, I was in the Marines at 17. I grew up in a small town in Arizona, Cave Creek, Arizona, right? Small town on a ranch, right? Not very many black people, stuff like that. But again, I went to the Marines and I was in situations like you're in a foxhole, right? And I was in a foxhole with like legit people who just like from the South, man, that were there. Right. And I'm talking the South, like these people came from homes that were racist. Right. But they're not the racist. Like anyway, I saw people like break through barriers because you're sitting in a foxhole with somebody, bro. And it really, when life is on the line, nobody cares about the color of your skin or if you suck dick or not or any of that shit. That again, all this stuff that they're pitting us against each other, the most ridiculous thing. It's like, but somehow this has what is permeating through our culture right now, and it's disgusting.
What you just said was really is really illuminating because that's very real. It's like, you know, there's no room for worrying about people's skin color in a foxhole. Like you have to worry about, am I going to die in the next 30 seconds or not? Right.
Yeah.
So there's this sense of this is a first world problem because the people, the psychotic progressives that are pushing this racist ideology are the same people that went to college with their parents' money, got a freaking whatever liberal arts degree where they can do nothing with. They majored in black studies or like liberal dance or some ridiculous nonsense. And then they move back in with their parents. They contribute absolutely nothing to society. And they write blogs about how oppression and injustice are permeating the world. And it's like, you live in the most pampered, safe environment that any human in the history of Earth has ever lived in.
You spoiled brat.
People that the left considers impoverished today live better than kings and queens did 120 years ago.
Right.
Like royalty didn't even have people. Like in my state, I can get a cheeseburger and a bag of weed delivered to my house.
Right. Like without leaving the couch.
Right. There's no oppression. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody in America is oppressed. If your life sucks and you live in America, it's because you suck. And you're not out there chasing it. You're not out there getting the fucking dream. You're not out there working hard. You're not saving. You're not, you know what I mean? You don't have values.
Brother.
You don't have the right principles. Like anybody who wants to achieve in this country can do so. And it's all a matter of perspective. Like if you make 36,000 US American dollars, you are in the top 1% income on planet Earth.
Right.
But just because there's somebody above you doesn't mean you're oppressed. Like you're still, like you're looking at you are the 1% and you're looking at the 0.01% and you're like, they're holding me back.
Right.
This is fucking idiots. You don't realize you already won the race. You already won. Like, you're fighting nothing.
Without a doubt, bro.
Like this, it's like if you look at climate change in third world countries, like there's countries that have to burn wood, essentially, like making charcoal and wood for energy. But then NGOs from America show up and say, "Oh, that's not green energy. You can't use that. It's terrible for the environment." Not realizing that these countries have to sort of deforest in a sense. They have to use their resources, build up their infrastructure, and then when they get to a point that the United States is at, they will be able to lower emissions because they have the infrastructure in place. They'll be able to lower pollution. They'll be able to take care of their garbage. They'll be able to build up their systems to take care of everything. But you have to start on the lowest rung. You can't jump right to green energy. It's not efficient enough. It's not energy dense enough. The wind isn't always blowing. The sun isn't always shining. But these psychotic liberals, they only push this idealism. It's like all they can see is what they want the world to be. They don't actually see what's in front of them. They just see, I know I could fix this if those evil Republicans weren't in the way.
Right.
They literally think you can just legislate your way to utopia.
Or free.
Which is, of course,
everything just free college.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, well,
modern monetary theory. We'll just print money. Who cares? What does it matter? These people are completely untethered from reality.
Well, absolutely, bro. Well, and think about a 22, 24-year-old today. They've never seen a real collapse of what should actually be taking place because of the dollar. It's the way that the inflation is and how the dollar is devalued, and there's a little bit of insanity. Reserve. Oh my God, dude! Like there's some bad stuff happening as far as the value of the dollar. Which, again, the value of the dollar is only the value of the dollar because the people say it is, right? I mean,
did you know that I think it's 60% of all the U.S. dollars in circulation were printed in 2020?
Yeah, buddy. I know. It's one of my favorite, like within 7 months last year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the numbers were varying between 40 and 60%. Yeah, I saw all kinds of things on it. And that's saying a lot.
And they're trying to deny inflation. And you know what's a good little experiment for people out there that want to just test it out themselves and they want to be able to see. Go to Amazon or go to Best Buy, whatever website you use to buy stuff. Throw something in your cart and just wait like 2 weeks and just watch the price go up.
Yep.
Because inflation is taking place and the value of your dollar is shrinking.
Well, and that's the thing, but nobody looks at it, and that's a tax. That's a tax. People don't realize that is a tax on your dollar.
It's way worse than a tax. It's the government literally diluting your money.
Oh, absolutely. But to me, that's what tax is. I mean, well, it's right. It's devaluing your money. It's taking money from you.
Money. Right. Yeah, I'd rather they took my money and left its value intact than just dilute the value of the money.
Well, dude, in the past 100 years, so 1913. I'm sure you know this, man. But before we get into this, I just want to let everybody know that this is going to be a fire talk. It already is, and if you at all want, yeah, man, and if you at all want any of this information and want to go deeper, text in the keyword "free minds" to 844-992-FREE. That's 844-992-3733. Text in that keyword "free minds," and we're going to send you out today's show notes, man. And this is just, man, again, to have somebody who is a free thinker like yourself. And that's really why we're starting this podcast, brother, is we gotta connect with our peoples, man. And that's one thing I have to say 2020 did was it brought us all together, and it's brought us all to arms, so to speak.
Yep, the conservatives realized, holy shit, the house is on fire. We have to do something.
Yeah. I'm a freedomist. You know what I mean? I'm right. Like in this battle between, and that's something that I've always stayed away from personally, is getting into any sort of groups. Right? The Marine Corps was the last big group I was in, had to choose a team or side.
Right.
Truth and freedom. That dude, and that's what I'm about. Freedom, liberties. I guess if anything, if I was to be put into some sort of little political box, it'd be a libertarian. Minimal government. Don't tread on me. Minimal tax. Stop taking my money because you think you can spend it better than me. It's an odd concept. You know what I mean? Like, dude, let's connect.
I think the main problem that people like you and I, maybe not you and I necessarily, but just conservatives or maybe not Republicans, conservative leaning people in general face is that people like us tend to be more individualist. We care about, like you said, you're more libertarian. I'm assuming you mean like small L libertarian, where it's like, the individual.
Not a liberal. Yeah, no, like libertarians, like, Ron Paul.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I know.
yeah.
Just mean not like the Libertarian Party. You just mean like a libertarian, because the Libertarian Party is a bunch of fucking psychopaths too.
No,
like,
all of them are to me. I'm just like, dude, like they all, to me, nothing's changed, Eric. Republican, Democrat, and I say this all the time, left wing, right wing, same bird. I just, that whole thing, it doesn't, I've seen, President Bush Jr., Reagan again, to me was really one of the last.
I think Trump was the first president that was like a legitimate breakout. First of his kind.
Yep. And again, he wasn't, he's not a GOP guy, or what are those rhinos, or what's a rhino? A rhino is like somebody who is a Republican but then votes Democrat. I'm learning all these things.
Republican in name only. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, man. Yeah. And I'm just, again, this is about connecting with like-minded individuals and spreading the good word, dude, of freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. That's exactly why I started all this. It's like, like I was saying, the main problem that we all have, that we all face as conservatives, is this this whole the weaponization of the media and everything against us. It's this whole, like, we all we're all individualists. Like I was saying, like we all believe in the individual is the most important, like, block of voter. It's the person, right? Yep. So the problem is the people on the left are collectivists. And it turns out that when you have a million people and they all agree with each other and they're all active in the political sphere, they create this like hammer of cancel culture. Like they created this power. It just sort of coalesced out of the power of social media, Twitter, and Facebook, and all these. Like, it just wasn't a thing. It's sort of an emergent phenomena. It wasn't a thing before because we didn't have those mechanisms before, but now we do. And the collectivist nature of the left just sort of created this new monolith that we never, I don't think Republicans saw this coming, or at least not, most people didn't see this coming. Right. So there's this, it's like, what do you do? I mean, how do you fight this when you're the kind of person that you believe that I have my beliefs and you have your beliefs, and I don't want to force my beliefs on you?
Yeah.
You are at a disadvantage when the other side is willing to force their beliefs down on you, and you believe they have the right to their opinions. Like conservatives are defending certain liberal positions, and then they get, conservatives will get canceled. And liberals, you got canceled. But it's like, you don't understand. You're next. They're coming for you next, bud. Like, you're the next one to get canceled.
Yep.
There's like liberal liberal channels are being dropped from YouTube and all this. And they're like, well, why are you censoring us? Like, well, because you don't understand.
I thought we were on the same side. No, you idiot.
Oh my God! I literally saw a video on Twitter of it was a riot or a mob of BLM people, like, surging through Seattle, and there was a black woman and a black man, and they were standing there yelling, and there was a white guy next to them that started yelling, and they were like, "Shut the fuck up!" And he's like, I'm on your. He's like, I'm on your side. They're like, no, you're not. You're fucking white. And then he's just like, the look on his face was just like, I thought I was helping. You realize in this moment, like, these people literally, they eat their own. Yeah. They don't care about anything. They don't have any grounding principles that they actually care about other than wielding power against those that they disagree with. And it's so dangerous because unprincipled revolutions always eat their own. Yeah. Look at the French Revolution. That did not end well for any of the people who started it. I mean, it's just, it's really sad. And it's this problem that I don't know how to solve other than starting a podcast that I started and trying to speak out and trying to, get the truth out there. But it's like screaming into a tornado. It's like, I don't have that much volume,
Well, but dude, and that's why, Eric, and that's why we're starting this as well, is because instead of yelling at the tornado, just ignore the tornado and let it go spin itself out. And then you connect up with other like-minded individuals like ourselves. And we're creating our own counter culture, our own counter economies. Like, I don't know if you know how much about the Freedom People, but the freedompeople.org, like on there, we have a directory, right? A business directory. So businesses that aren't requiring any of this tyrannical bullshit that I just can't believe. Anywho, it's a whole other tangent and rabbit hole. Frickin' go down there.
Like the COVID stuff?
Bro, just that, and again the masks, and again it's about liberties and freedoms, right? Here's how I feel about it: is that if you are scared for your life because of the invisible boogeyman, right? There's just this invisible thing killing people, millions of people. Hey, and thank God, and we really need. I think maybe someone should start a fund for all the people that have been cleaning up all the dead bodies out of the streets every night. I'm not sure who they are, but really we should start a fund for those people, because I haven't seen a dead body on the street yet, and I mean that must be really good, because the media is telling us that we have dead people all over the floor right now, right? So just hats off to you guys, like whoever you are. I'm gonna give you a round of applause. Thank you for all the dead body crew, cleaning up people. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, get out of here, dude. Again, it's just such bullshit, and that's what I'm saying, man. Is that I'm tired of my rights being trampled on. I've sat by idly for 20 years. I've known about this for 20 years. I had in 1997 had my wake up about the media lying to me, and that's what kicked my ass, right? For years, and then I just became complacent because, dude, like you said, it's like yelling into a tornado. Right.
What are you going to do?
Dude, and you can imagine 20 years ago, I was trying to tell people that the Federal Reserve Bank was a privately owned bank, and people were disowning me and never spoke to me again. Literally 20 years ago, still.
Yeah. It's federal in the name.
Dude, and it's like, but again, we're touching, what you're doing is you're touching people's core belief systems, right? Not their values, but their core belief systems. And these belief systems are that the media tells you the truth, right? The core belief system that the government would never lie to you, right? Again, when it's just complete BS, right? And if you, and that's where I think having these awakenings that we've had and being able to see through that, right? And it's like in my better half, Miss Emily Freedom over here, what she likes to say is it's like getting out of a bad relationship. Once you've been in like an abusive relationship and you get out of it, then you're like, holy shit, why did I stay so long, right? But when you're in it, you don't really know it, and it's
hard to see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, man. And so again, dude, it's so awesome to have again starting these sort of things, and again that's what we're doing. So we're creating our own counterculture, and what we do is we start yelling together in the same way, right? But we're not even yelling anymore. We're just walking peacefully and calmly towards the direction that we want, and letting the tornado destroy itself, because that's what's happening. It's already happening, bro. If you look around, it's already starting to devour itself. Right, like you were saying, now all these liberal channels and things like that are going to start getting canceled, and it's just going to start eating itself more and more. And our objective here at the Freedom People is to preserve a way of life, right? And I guess it's a belief system, right? Or values, right? And I guess something that can be changed, but it's the values of freedom. And because I don't know what we have if we're not free. Well, then what foundation do we have to build any? Then it's all just kind of BS, man.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the invisible barriers that we all thought were there were exposed to not be there in 2020.
Yeah, buddy.
I think a lot of the invisible, like the institutions that we thought just worked in the background, we saw that they're not working. Mm-hmm. That was the year that I think a lot of people got red pilled last year.
Oh yeah.
I think the riots helped red pill a lot of people to realize that the media is not telling you the truth. We've got reporters literally standing in front of blocks of burning buildings being like, yeah, it's mostly peaceful protest here, Tom. You're like, this fucking dude's serious right now. Like, he literally just said that. Like, literally buildings burning, people throwing bricks at old women. Yeah, it's pretty much peaceful here. These are black people, so we're not allowed to say anything bad about them. So it's like, this is absolutely fucking psychotic. And we literally saw 10 months of rioting from the left. And we saw the media obfuscate the truth, sort of be like blasé about it, or just flat out defending the riots because, black people being murdered in the streets is just as bad as COVID. There's people saying like, oh, you don't go out, but unless you're protesting for social justice, and then it's totally okay to go.
Yeah. And don't look at the inner cities in any way where all the murders are taking place. Like, don't look there at all. You know what I mean?
And I mean, all the black people that were killed in the BLM riots, no one talks about that.
No.
Like,
no.
David Dorn, he was an ex-police captain.
Yep. Guarding his buddy's shop, right? He was guarding one of his friend's shop or his shop or something.
That's exactly right. Yeah. His friend owned a store, and shit was getting crazy because there's rioters, and he called his buddy, who was an ex-cop, to come help him because they're a community and they help each other, and that's what they believe in. And he died doing what he lived doing, protecting his community. In the name
of a black dude, in the name of Black lives that matter, right?
Right.
It's
he
like,
died,
what are you talking about?
So these people they take the lives of actual black people so that they can stand up for some theoretical black people somewhere else.
Right.
Because that is the perfect microcosm of what the left does.
Yep.
They pass laws and legislation that on paper helps people. And then when it hits the real world, it completely falls apart because they only see this idealism. It's like the minimum wage argument. They don't understand anything about economics, but they keep raising the minimum wage, and they don't understand. They keep pricing people that don't have a lot of skills.
Jobs, dude.
They're pricing them out of the market.
Yeah.
So there's less people working. So there's less GDP, which means there's less taxes, which means it's actually less advantageous for them.
Right.
But these people, they're only interested in things that sound good. Right. They have absolutely no interest in doing anything that has any practical application of helping anyone.
Right. And it's all about the feelings really over the facts, right? And like you said, and they get the mob mentality really good. They're good at the mob mentality, right? And even though it doesn't make any sense or fiscal sense in any way, like you're just like, well, financially, this like has to come from somewhere, right? I mean,
yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll just print more money or tax the rich. And you're like, well, I mean, here's the thing:
you're like, well, right, but the rich can just fucking leave. They don't give a shit.
Dude,
that's
look what just happened, dude. And like, I mean, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk. I mean, who else left
Daily
California?
Wire,
right? All left California. I mean,
fuck this shit.
Dude, they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to put their money somewhere else. They're going to do something else. They'll go to another freaking country, dude. People that don't have a lot of money can get offshore bank accounts these days. So it's not that difficult. And so it's just like but again, like you said, it's very short-sighted. And with the phenomenon
it's a matter of self-congratulation as a means for public policy. Thomas Sowell wrote an entire book on this. It's called Vision of the Anointed. He literally goes over like 40 years, 50 years of policies, of liberal policies that did the exact fucking opposite of what they were trying to do, with no recognition from any of the people involved, because what actually, the practical application of their laws, couldn't care less about any of that. That isn't how they derive their morality. Their morality is not derived from, I did X and X helped the community. Their morality comes from a completely different place. It's an idea of cosmic justice, right? It's the idea that I did this thing which sounds like it helps black people to me, and that's the end of it for them. It doesn't need to actually have any practical application or ability to help people. It just needs to lean in a direction that makes them feel good, and then they know they followed the rules of the cult and that they're a good leftist.
Right.
These people, it's like when you hear progressives and conservatives talk about deterrence, progressives literally do not understand deterrence. They just want to de-weaponize. They just want to, we're going to demilitarize, we're going to de-weaponize, we're going to de-escalate. They don't understand. They don't have the same, other countries like China, for example, don't have the same incentives. They don't have the same oversight that we do. So it's like, if we de-weaponize, they're going to be like, yeah, sure. We threw all of our guns away. Meanwhile, they're making more because they're duplicitous.
Right.
Like, these people, they don't have the ability to think in nuance. They don't have the ability to have any real practical application of knowledge. They just see their utopian vision and they operate in the world based on how they think they can achieve it without ever realizing that they can't achieve it. It's not possible. It's the whole idea of the constrained vision versus the unconstrained vision. That's what's tearing our society apart. It's people that base their everything on idealism and how they think it should be. And then there's people that see what the real world is and that understand that we're going to have to make some concessions. And there's going to be some people that don't have the best life ever, but we're not going to be able to legislate that away. We're just going to hurt other people with our extra legislation. Sorry, big rant. I didn't mean to take over the conversation.
No, this is amazing stuff. And again, man, I'm going to urge my listeners, your listeners, whoever's listening to this thing, text in the word. What was our, keyword is free minds. Text in the keyword free minds to 844-992-FREE. Again, that's 844-992-3733 and type in that or text in that free minds keyword. And we're going to send you out the show notes from today from Eric. This is, just really fascinating stuff. You're obviously very well thought out and spoken. And man, it's an honor to have you and talk about all this stuff. And so have you been, I'm not sure, have you been following the George Floyd stuff at all? I personally don't follow it a lot.
I'm all over it.
Okay, awesome, man. Like, dude, like today, so you know Tim Pool is? I'm sure.
Oh, he is my he's my main source of information on the world is Tim Pool.
Sweet, yeah, right. He's great. I love what he does. He's totally non-biased, man. Well, I started watching him last year. I'd never heard of him until. Again, when I got locked down is when I started okay, well, I guess it's go time. I guess we're up in arms, dude. It's World War III.
Yep, we're doing
information. Yeah. So, right?
Yeah.
Because that's literally where we're at, man. It's crazy. So anyway, but I was listening to Tim Pool just before we got on, and he was talking about how the Chauvin guy, but the main witness for the state, who is supposed to be the use of force expert guy, actually kind of said that Chauvin, the cop, actually should have used more or was authorized to use more force, include tase his ass.
He could have chosen to use more force and still been perfectly fine under the law.
Right. And I mean, and here's the thing, but it's what you said in the beginning. It's the media spinning this narrative, and that's the most insidious thing I think that we're dealing with in our country is the manipulation of information. And you take somebody like Candace Owens, which I love her, by the way, right? But anybody that is a BLM supporter absolutely hates her. And it's like, but, and this, I'm talking about white people. It's like, but how come how come that black person, you'll listen to that black person, but you won't listen to the Hodge twins. You won't listen to, Tatum, Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum. You won't listen to him. You won't listen to any of these people, black people who are actually upstanding people who've made success. You won't listen to them. You're only going to listen to these poor, athletes who've had some success, but it's again, bullshit success, right? It's like they're good at some sort of sport or something, and they're good at that, and they put in the work to do that, and God bless you. But you have that, and the sport is geared towards that and stuff, but not towards these academic, amazing people. It's not like you get what I'm saying? I know you do, and it's just that was kind of
you see people like LeBron James who make I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars a year screaming about how oppressed he is, and I'm like, you're not fucking serious right now, dude. Right? You're literally not fucking serious. He's talking about how I get hunted every day when I leave my house. Well, you must be pretty fucking agile.
You must be a dick too, because if people are hunting you, you're an asshole. Then sorry.
Right.
Stop being a dick.
Craziness. You hear this bullshit about uplift black voices and uplift black voices. You see there's a section on Facebook where you go to publish content, and it's I don't know if you ever looked on there, but it's there's a whole thing where it's uplift black voices, and on Netflix there's the Black Lives Matter
everywhere, dude, everywhere on Yelp, on everything.
But like you said, there's no Thomas Sowell, there's no Candace Owens, there's no Walter Williams, there's no Shelby Steele, there's no black
Morgan Freeman. You know what I mean? There's no of these,
right. There's none of that. It's so that's and they like to try to claim. Oh well, we're giving black people a voice, but it's really just you're giving black people who agree with you a voice because you're a tribal psychopath.
And everybody else, to hell with them. And actually, you can kill them if you want because they're not worth anything. It's a very weird thing, and it causes this visceral reaction in people Like, they're like, I hate that woman. And they're talking about Candace Owens. And I was like, how can you hate her? She's a very well-spoken, educated, well-thought-out woman. Again,
Beautiful.
yes, dude.
God,
yeah.
like
And why wouldn't you want to, like, and here's the thing is I've had like friends, right, who are big BLM supporters, right? And it is what it is. And I try and educate them on stuff, and then
Right.
it's socialist, Marxist, and they're trying to, like, this is a communist overtake of our country. Help me out here. But nobody will listen, right? Again, it's just very emotionally charged. And that's, they pull us around by our nose hairs, right? Everybody just kind of gets pulled around by their nose hairs and says, oh, look at this racist thing. And then they try and blow that thing up and make it all blah, 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 blah. Anyway, man, but again, it causes this visceral reaction in people that are like, I don't know why she's beautiful, but I hate her. You know what I mean? Because they have this belief system so ingrained in them that white people are bad, right? And the reason that black people tend to be in these minority communities that are oppressed. There's no, there, you know what I mean? I mean, what was the Tuskegee experiments where they, right? What they did, they on black
that
people.
Happened, yeah.
They injected.
But that's not generally
but that's just generally not really. And I mean, back then I can understand it more, right? Whereas, again, the as Candace Owens says, the racist thing is not even on her top 100 list, man. That's not what's problem. The problem is no parents in the home, nobody learning these values that we're talking about right now, which is taking some self-responsibility for your world, taking some self-responsibility for your experience, and not saying everything outside of me is to blame.
It's really sad because the narrative that they craft forces, like, it's so disgusting because it's essentially like, I said this in my last interview, but I'm going to say it again because it really just nails it on the head. White people don't need to oppress black people anymore because black people do it for them.
Oh yeah.
They're trained to oppress themselves and each other.
Yeah. It's the cool thing to do. That's now the culture, right? If you're not oppressed and some gangbanger or oppressed or doing this or a rapper or something, then you're not doing black right.
Yeah. If you're a black kid who's reading books and trying to educate yourself and increase your human capital, you're acting white. You're not a real black person. Right. So they've actually successfully convinced black people that what it means to be black is to be an ignorant criminal who doesn't know anything, doesn't read, and doesn't better themselves.
Right.
And black people bought it.
Like, and have adopted it to be their, this is who we are now.
And it's really unfortunate because this toxic culture that, again, this is another thing Thomas Sowell wrote a book about that I read. It's called Black Rednecks and White Liberals. I would suggest literally every human being on planet Earth should read this book. It will change your life. So this toxic culture was transplanted from certain parts of like Ireland and Scotland and Europe to the South because all those people came to the South. Then those people got slaves. So 9 out of 10, there was a time where in this country where 9 out of 10 people 9 out of 10 blacks lived in or came from the South. So there was this transfer of this toxic culture to black people that somehow white liberals then decided to attribute to black people as though it was unique to them. It's not. It's just a culture of sort of, if somebody insults me, I will literally go to jail for respect. Like I will go to jail if you step on my fucking shoe. I'll murder you. People that don't work hard, people that are just chasing pussy all day is more important than actually getting a job. You know what I mean? Like it's people who they just have all the wrong values. They have all the wrong morals instilled in them. And of course, all those things bleed into your life. They bleed into how much money you make. They bleed into the opportunities you have. They bleed into the people that you spend your time with. And all those things lead to very disparate outcomes. Yeah. The left wants to try to make it so that all cultures and all decisions and all decisions are equally valid. If you want to sit in your house all day and shoot crack into your fucking toes, you should be allowed to do that. But you should also have as much money as an investment banker that works 300 days a year, busts his ass, and is trying to build a life for his family. Right. All decisions are equal, and everyone should have the same outcome at the end because reasons.
Right. Bro, and that's so where they say equal opportunity, not equal outcome. because
exactly.
The outcome is based on you. And by the way,
Right.
that's why else. How else do you want to live? Again, like to me, that's the name of the game. This is the game of life, dude. If you know what I mean. If you want to kind of put it in those terms, but like that's
right. We're not all we can't all equally be NBA professionals.
Right.
We just can't.
Right.
We're
I'm 5'11", can't shoot for shit, dude. I'm not going to the NBA. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just is what it is.
They want everything to be equal everywhere. It's this idea of cosmic justice.
Right.
And they will literally try to terraform reality
to
fit this vision that they have. But of course, all they do in the process is destroy reality, and they destroy our institutions, and they're destroying our country. And they couldn't care less.
Free.
Yeah, dude.
They couldn't care less.
Dude, yeah, man. Dude, yes, spitting all this truth, Eric. It's amazing. It's amazing. Good stuff, man.
Thanks, man.
Well, yeah. It's I'm
wound up.
Dude, and keep it going. I love the fire, man. And that's the thing. And that's where we need people pumped up, fired up, dude. And just, again, kind of balance these airwaves, because right now it seems like, the opposing narrative of what we're trying to talk about here, which is freedom, is the opposite of freedom, which is restriction, right? And everybody wanting to tell somebody else what to do. And it doesn't seem like there's any way to get, like you said, there's no give, right? What's that guy's name again? Who we were saying who literally talks KKK members out of being KKK members, but can't talk to a liberal, right?
God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know he's such
on
a
Joe
badass,
Rogan's
man.
podcast.
Yeah, that's where I first learned about him. Yeah, and I listened to that and I was like, man. But again, and there's, I don't know if you've ever seen the Morgan Freeman, any of his interviews, but he talks a lot about how about you stop calling me black man, I'll start calling you white man. We'll just be men. You know what I mean? Like again, we have to move past like had you not told me you were a black guy, I wouldn't have even known nor give a shit, dude. Again, it's not something I care about. Do you know what I mean? It's like, dude, I don't care about your skin color, even if you do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a weird place to be, because again, I have a lot of black friends who it's never come up. I dated a black woman for 7 years, bro, and never came up.
Right.
Never came up. Again, it was just, I mean, it was just, but then after all this, like people just, man, friends that I had and stuff, they were like, oh yeah, man, well, they didn't say it directly or anything like that. And we don't speak a lot of them anymore, right? A lot of people, I'm not even on Facebook anymore. I self-ejected off that platform last summer. I was just, cause I was trying in the beginning to talk to people, but then that's when I realized, dude, the brainwashing is set in. The you know what I mean? It's completely washed.
Yeah.
It is sparkling clean.
In.
Like, yeah, man. It's trying to. It was just like, and that's where again why we're starting. I'm an action taker, and so we're like, you know what? First of all, that's why we started the Freedom Directory. The freedomdirectory.com now goes to directory.thefreedompeople.org, right? So it's kind of under the umbrella of the Freedom People. But it was just because I wanted to go and sit down and have a meal without being looked at like a psychopath, because I'm not putting a freaking tinfoil mask on my face. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm the conspiracy theorist. Okay.
Oh, dude, I like that. Tinfoil mask.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's good.
Right. Instead
that's
of the
good.
tinfoil hat, you got tinfoil mask now, bro. That's like, and it's like,
oh my
all of these freaking conspiracy theorists running around with masks like there's invisible fucking boogeyman bug guy. And again, all the dead people at night in the streets are getting cleaned up, so nobody seems to see it. So like nobody, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just
damn dead body fairies.
The dead body fairies, dude. Out there doing ninja shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. But let's go back to if you don't mind, can we go back to the Floyd trial? Like,
yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, and again, we kind of started going off, but I think we off-railed a little bit. But but what else have you been seeing from like? And again, I haven't been watching the trial itself. I've been watching Tim Pool and I listen to, I don't know, other conservative, I guess, people. And again, a lot of these people didn't used to be conservative. Like Tim Pool was not a conservative at all. He bought his first gun last year. I'm not sure if you were following it, but that was kind of cool to watch him kind of go through the process of, sorry about that.
Yeah, man.
Boo Biscuit.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I get my news from a lot of the same places, so I've seen a lot of what you've seen. there's basically, I mean, you can watch the video of the arrest. He was literally saying, "I can't breathe" when he was in the store being arrested. He was saying, "I can't breathe" when he's sitting in the police cruiser alone by himself. He's saying, "I can't breathe."
Yeah.
And then he literally yelled, I swallowed too many drugs while he's laying on the ground. I'm not trying to laugh because it's not.
No, it's not.
Died, but it's like, it's so fucking comically obvious why he died. And it's like, these people, they literally can't see anything else. I saw a tweet from again, I got off of Facebook largely because it's just screaming into a tornado.
Cesspool.
But every once in a while, I can't resist, and I'll scroll through, and I just see, like, one of my liberal idiot friends posted a tweet. It was something like, how broken is this country? It's like, we literally are having a trial for a murder we all witnessed. And it's like, you just
do you know that he had like
use your brain?
He had like over four times the lethal amount of a overdose of fentanyl in his system, right? You saw that probably. Louder with Crowder. You watch Crowder at all? Like,
of course, yeah.
So Crowder, they were talking about it this morning. Actually, they were going through like that, right? They were doing speedballs, dude. Like methamphetamine, which again, methamphetamines instead of usually back in the day it was meth and heroin or coke and heroin. Now it's like fentanyl, like whatever. Anyway, the point is like he was eating these fentanyl, and then his best friend. You saw his best friend or I guess I don't know, mentor guy or something.
Dealer.
Yeah, the dealer, right, who then backed out and said, "I can't testify because I might actually," because now he
would have incriminated himself.
Right, because the dude's dying because of all the drugs he took. He ate a bunch of fentanyl right when the cops got there. Again, something he's done in the past, and that's what I'm trying to say. This is not like it was like, you know what I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. that was killed by some cops in the streets, but that's right. what the rhetoric is. This is a dude who's a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's color skin or not.
Legitimate piece of shit too.
Yes,
George Floyd broke into a pregnant woman's house with his friends and held a knife to her stomach while his friends pistol whipped her, beat her, and robbed her apartment.
Yep. That's a pretty upstanding dude, right? Yeah, let's tear down the fucking country for that guy. Let's do that.
Yeah, this is the kind of guy that deserves, what is it?
And award his family $28 million.
Right. There's like George Floyd Avenue in a bunch of cities now, and there's like Black Lives Matter
no-go zones or whatever they're called, right?
And the Democrats did that whole ridiculous African rag ceremony, whatever the fuck nonsense that, like, it's literally insane. But they have to you're literally witnessing this woke psychotic tribalness. It's a cult.
Yep.
You're witnessing the cult of the woke permeating everything in our society.
Dude, you're 100%.
This man was literally a fucking piece of shit who, frankly, in my opinion, deserved to die. Did he deserve to die by, whatever confluence of events happened the way it happened? Maybe not. But if he had went to prison and gotten fucking stabbed in the throat, I wouldn't have lost any.
No, but here's the thing: it was his decisions that put him there, and this is what I'm trying to really instill in people is self-responsibility, right? And again, to me, that's just like a redundant, weird thing to say. Like, just take the responsibility for yourself, because when you do that, you take your power back, bro. You know what I mean? But again,
that's exactly it, dude. You just fucking nailed it. When you blame everyone else for your problems, you also give up the ability to change your own life. Yep. Because you're not responsible for your life.
You're responsible for my education. You're responsible for my health. You're responsible for my kid. You're responsible for this. Oh, it's because of the government. It's the government's fault. It's because of the color of my skin. It's because of and that's again a thing. Is like, to me, this is all about class, bro. Or the haves and the have-nots. Okay?
It literally is.
This is not about race, or this is not about anything else. This is the biggest wealth transfer that's ever happened this last year, by the way. Trillionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires now, right? Okay. You got Bill Gates, who is heavily invested in the vaccines, 20-to-1 return. He's admitted on camera saying these things. And I've tried to tell people these things, and they still think he's just the messiah. They're like, he gave up his fortune. He did not. He reinvested it in another freaking in another product, and it's called vaccines. And why do you think he's out there? And he's been laying the groundwork and planting the seeds for this for years, dude. He's admitted it. You know what I mean? 2015, he gave that what was that TED Talk, right? Saying how he had to use vaccines.
Part of the Great Reset.
Bro, yeah, exactly. 2030, and that's fully out there now, and and they're admitting it, but nobody seems to even care.
No,
and it's like,
I talked to liberals about it, and they tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, dude, literally go to the fucking
go to their website.
Literally go to the World Economic Forum's website. It was on the front page of their website for like weeks.
Yes, like in 2020.
They'll literally look you in the face and tell you you're a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, do you not have some?
Yeah, they're the ones walking around with a fucking tinfoil mask on. It's again, the upside down world, bro. We're in the upside down world.
Literally, dude.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I gotta say, I just want to say again, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've had some people on my show. I have yet to really be a guest on other people's show and sort of get my feet dipped into like a new audience. I really appreciated the opportunity, and I just can't thank you enough for taking the time and letting me talk to your audience and just sort of express my ideas and everything. I really appreciate it.
Dude, you are more than welcome, Eric. And, same's over here on this side, dude. It's been an honor. And again, just having another human being in the world that we can connect with, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're kind of connecting nodes. Because this is an idea. These are values. These are values that we're trying to kind of share and let people know they still exist. You know what I mean? And because I know for us, for whatever reason, we don't have a lot of local support like this. We're finding more and more of our friends now and people I actually trust who I've never met in person. It's kind of a weird place to be, right? You're just
Absolutely.
But just because we do share those values. And again, people of all faith, of all sexuality. Again, I don't even know why it matters, right? A LGBT who gives a shit. But again, like it and that's where I another thing I don't really understand is again, it's just the mentality of the cult or the mentality of this beast that it's going to keep eating itself, right? All these people who were fighting for freedoms and stuff like that, or, in your lesbian gay community, they're destroying all of that. They don't understand what they're doing, right? They're destroying it because what's going to happen now is they're taking away all the freedoms. So now all the freedoms that gave them the ability to do all these things they wanted, they're not going to be able to change or do anything ever again, right? And it's just like this weird paradigm that we seem to be seeped in right now. And again, it's just nice to have another beacon of light to connect with. And
Thanks, man. I really appreciate
we got to keep doing this, dude. We got to keep doing this. We got to do more of these.
They're absolutely. I'm down, man. I'd love to be on the show again.
Yeah,
I just want to leave you with this, that there is hope. Okay. I spent an hour and some change on the phone today with a woman. I'm not going to name her because I don't have her permission, but she's got a PhD in sociology. She lives in California. She's a liberal. I'm talking to her, trying to get her on the show. So we spent an hour talking, and I was like, basically, this is why I believe what I believe. Basically, Trump opened my eyes to the lies of everything, and I sort of broke down exactly what he's done, what I saw, what the media was telling me, how I figured out that they were lying. And by the end of the conversation, I had shaken her beliefs. I had shaken her how sure she was in what she thought was true. And so if you can even reach one person, if you can get just one person to question something about what they believe, then it seems like a really minuscule victory, but you got to start winning those small victories before you can win the big ones.
Yeah.
It's all about just trying to expose the double standard, just trying to expose the lies of the media. Because once you get it in their head, hey, am I being fucking lied to? They're going to go do the work themselves because people don't want to feel like an idiot. If you can just get one thing, like slide one thing under the door, it's like, hey, look, the media said this. Look, this is what actually happened. See, it's right here. If you can just get one piece of information to penetrate that bubble, that can be all it takes for them to free themselves from this prison that they're in. So it's like, there is hope out there. There is hope. We can do this. That's right. We just got to keep fighting. We have to not get complacent. We have to be willing. You have to be willing to be called a racist, be willing to be called a white supremacist, be willing to be smeared, be willing to take all those slings and arrows because that's what it's going to take.
Dude, yeah, and I've never been called a racist. Like, I mean, maybe behind my back or something when I was younger and I didn't know about it, but like to my face ish, I guess, if on the social medias or whatever, right? Again, because I really don't believe people would say this stuff to your face, but again, and that gives us form of an anonymity that people enjoy these days. That's another thing the internet's done, right? Is they can get these mob things, but nobody actually has to be a man or a woman, or that's right. What am I looking for? Figure of speech there, right? But I'm just saying, like nobody is really kind of, enough to stand in face to face and say some of these things, right? So I think it gives that extra little bit of oomph behind it. But dude, and that's a beautiful story. Thank you for that. And we're going to get more of that, you know what I mean? And maybe one day, we can all have a talk with that person you're talking about. Right. And I know other people that I would love to have them have a conversation with you if they'd be willing. Right. Because again, and it's just so ridiculous, and this is as racist as fuck. It's because it's the color of your skin that I want to talk to you about fucking with other people. Because again, It's just like I'm trying. It's a weird place to be in, man. It's just, like I was saying, I've never been called a racist more in my life.
Think in terms of race, because they think in terms of race, and in order to beat them, you have to try to think how they think. It's like a weird. Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck yeah, awesome, man. Well, Eric, thank you so much, dude. It's been a pleasure, an honor. And let's stay in touch. There goes the baby, dude. Wow. Yeah. We just had a baby, 2 weeks ago ish.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's our first, right? So we have a little bit extra kind of stake in this game called life now. Right.
Yeah, man.
So
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And thanks again, Eric. And yeah, dude, we'll set up another one. I'd be honored to come on your show, or we can have you come back on here or whatever, man. We're again, just trying to spread the good word of freedom, bro. Good word of freedom.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, man. That sounds good. Please remember to, check out Free Minds Podcast on Apple Music.
Tell them how to get a hold of you. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, tell them.
That's it.
Yeah.
Apple Music, Spotify. Follow me on Twitter at Free Minds Podcast. There's no I in the minds because I didn't have enough letters, but so yeah, that's it. Apple and Spotify is where you can find me. I do a couple episodes a month, and we're trying to grow. We're trying to get more guests. We're trying to have conversations, and we're doing exactly what you're doing. So thank you very much again.
Yes, absolutely, bro. Thank you. Very well done, man. We'll talk soon.